Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Christopher Michael Curtis Bourne, on the 6th of August 2019, co-creating accelerated trends and transcendental renaissance, increasing and accelerating the coordinates, and then, of course, elevating and accelerating the rate of this magnificent, spectacular, evanescent, well, I guess specifically when it comes to technology. Of course, not only the biosphere designs, but the, of course, multifaceted crystal generators, which, of course, are more numerous, and, of course, that super awesome, just to super simplify, the super awesome, beauty of that massive biosphere, and just that understanding, of course, of that transition, or just of that, of course, excellence is one, of course, not only allows not only the limitlessness of which is already limitless freedom and limitless ultra creative evanescent design in multifaceted co-creationalistical designs of limitless production, which is ultimately more sophisticated, complex way of saying abundance, unlimited abundance, is, of course, a very good, not only avenue and, of course, branching for more, one, spiritualistical designs, and two, technological branches of those designs, which, of course, can allow for more, of course, diversity, more freedom and liberty of living, and, of course, more unity. Very, very exciting, of course, and, of course, this is ultimately, just kind of one of the most basic things for, like, the ability to, not only the ability, but the capabilities, and then the structures of, one, of course, the accessibility, of course, and the transportation ability of not only the more efficient, more effective, and more just all around better transportation devices when it comes to, for example, the most simplest of the advanced technologies is, of course, a very grand just way to not only explore one of the new frontiers. Well, there's, of course, the frontiers are limitless, and, of course, one of those branchings of the limitlessness of the, of like, I guess from one thought form, from that, okay, let's just go with basic teardrop EMV. Of course, that expands our already limitless horizons to, just the surrounding solar systems. And, of course, this capability has already been capable for a long time, as well as through, of course, astral projection. One of the many things that's already been capable, especially, it's important to, of course, once again, be able to go to different, for example, in the dreams, they go to different planets, go to different solar systems, stars, blue, red, orange, brown, white, light blue, the large, the dwarf. Well, I think there's a specific name, but of course, and then every star system has the star family, etc., etc. The fascinating thing about one of these co-creative, expansive biospheres, of course, is not only the productability, not necessarily productability, but the, of course, the endless abundance, but the endless, fruition of all that fantastic co-creationalistical diversity in the different co-creatabilities with the tools, with the branching, and, of course, with the limitless designs, and, of course, with the continuity of the acceleration of many of the various inventions which can be made, which are being made, and which shall be made. And of course, one of the amazing key factors is just, for example, one thing that we already have, I already have, of course, advanced level of consciousness, or higher consciousness, or ascended consciousness, or ascended masters. The understanding, of course, not only of the higher consciousness, and then, one of the many details, which I've already described, but I guess fluidity is one of them, and is to, the co-continuance of limitless co-creational expansion in some of the most basic design of, for example, air, which I've already explained, clouds, and then ground, I've already explained, or underground grounds, the tunnelings, and then magma, lava, those transitions, and then water. So that's the acceleration of not only the abilities of what we can grow, but the expansiveness of that. Many more diversities, of course, of not only what is there, but of course the acceleration of creating new life, new plants, new ocean, marine, new insects, and of course, even the type 532 civilization is 10 to the power of 5,236 watts. The formlessness and the form of the fluidity of the essence of this super co-creative manifestable ability, or manifestal creational fluidity motion, not only motion but interaction, and not only interaction but of course the connection with the cosmic lattice, of course, is just a one co-creative, expansive, and limitless form of, even once again being more basic and simple, connectivity, abundance, of course never-ending prosperity, the acceleration of our co-creative and our creative abilities, our of course mental, psychic, physical abilities, and of course spiritual and emotional abilities, which is already, kind of the foundation of one of the many things, which is already, as since a type 150, even, type 130 to 190, of course those essences are embodied in the aura, which can be, allowed to interact and also be in those co-creative, expansive forms. In for example, for example, the bond between, or which is even just one of the most natural bonds, like the natural library, which are trees, just the touching of the trees, of course, all that information, whatever information you want to know, whatever you want to know, for example, what's going on this planet, and of course, it has its cosmic antennas as well, can be connected and unified with the just from the connectivity of the bark, and then of course that library can build up and build up and build up and build up. And of course that's one of the incredible, amazing things that's happening. And of course that's incredibly positive, very grand solution, or a very grand truth. And also one of the many major factors about that, of course, is the invincibility. Now what's happening, or what's going to happen, and what's happening is there's going to be or not going to be, but there is and there are going to be a lot more amazing, of course, super advanced and super positive designs, creations, technologies, and builds, which of course have abundance-based structures within them. So it's once again an important transition, which we already have, the ability to be our which is a positive thing, no matter how, no matter what type of interaction is with, for example, animate and inanimate objects, is always a super incredible, ultra, to be simplified, fantastic result, fantastic creation, or fantastic product. Because of course it's a journey, and of course this is just one small part of the journey. And of course there's been a lot of progress, a lot of positive things, and it's happening once again at a even faster rate. Because already now 539, a type 539 civilization. And of course, we're still going to grow, and of course, we still have the co-creative capabilities. To be more specific about the types of technologies, many beautiful things about the actual limitlessness of the connectivity that is and will be with apparel. And kind of already is, but, for example, I'm not going to macromanage the many different types of co-creative designs that can be done with them, but of course, there's just some of the basic things: levitation, invisibility, teleportation, aura ignition, or transformability, changing the colors of auras. Structurability, changing shape, changing form, changing structure, changing heat, the resistance to water, fire, earth, air, ether, even to, for example, connections with emotions. Of course, this is incredibly unlimited amounts of variety that can be done with just apparel, and of course, this, once again, I'm not going to give it away, but there's a very, very, of course, special, which is, of course, an important part of the journey to find out what to simplify what the colors mean. So, of course, it's those are some of the basics ones: shape, forming, and it's gonna, of course, it's just a natural ability, which actually, for example, sparks many forms of life rejuvenation response, and then it's the actual language. That's, of course, is going to have a very key tie-in, wink, wink, hint, hint to the designs. And of course, designs. It's super subjective. The specific word for that, of course, that's, it's an extendability of the extendability of the, for example, extension of our, for example, willpower, extension of our co-creative ability manifested in, for example, physical. Of course, there's also going to be that spiritual realm, what's it called? Spiritual realm formability, which of course is like the bright aura of the beings from Theoiba. And of course they're massive trees, massive fruits, massive homes, the egg-shaped, holographic with the focal point homes. They're spaceports, which are pretty good model spaceports. But of course, well, one of the things, of course, with spaceports is one, letters. For example, the new language and of course the ancient language. Well, I mean, not the. It's the same thing. New, ancient, newfound language, and the kind of current language, which is, of course, always, of course, motion is. I use the term motion. What's a better word? The fluidity of the translistical nature of also veracity, but the fluidity of that one state of form and formless to state of imagination realm, and of course the equations that go with it, which are of course adding every day the number of equations and the forms of equations, and of course the abilities with the equations, and then of course the understanding of that spiritual realm, which is of course just one field, is going to help produce and help manifest and help create and be, of course, that extendability of what we can do for the design of the foundational part of those structures. For example, and that, for when I say like the forms or the letters are going to be those spaceports. Now, I'll explain that a little bit more. The very, very simply, the spaceports are launching pads for a foundational beam unity sentience acceleration. So to help describe that and break that down even more simply, nature is of course one of the most perfect designs. Their shapes, and of course it's there. Wow. Is there DDT there? I mean, of course, we're Guardians. So, it's a, there we go, it's a focal point. Yeah, focal point is actually probably one of the greater words. Focal point for not only, once again, that frontier of expeditionary, exploratory, and trailblazing, but also that limitless expansion. Special about these current, for example, times, of course, the foundational transcendence and building, and of course accelerated movement of invincibility. Kind of like the unstoppability. I guess we'll just call it perseverance, relentless, and just one of the amazing, beautiful factors of translating. It's a It's a form of paradiscal, listical, formational thought form in formational aspects of enlightenment transitional fruition. What that means is it's a artilistical Okay, so there are the ultra, like the vibrancy of a. This is going to be, I guess, kind of complex to describe, but so vibratory frequency of the planet's state of states and state in the embodiment in the being. So meaning kind of just the very it's not electricity, but more of a, once again, illumination of vibrancy and a type of conductancy. Yeah, conductancy of a life form, frequency. So ultimately, one of the close words that comes close, or some of the close words that come close, are invincibility. The truly capable part of, actually probably just the extendability of that thought form of that transformation of transartinary field, transartinary function, transartinary listical, fundamental fact, I guess. Because the invincibility, of course, is just one of the multifaceted natures of what is already limitless. An important key part of not only thrival, but just regular old normal acceleration of advancement, not only just subsonic and supersonic, but of course superluminous and in all environments. And of course through the plasma field, or the which is of course getting stronger, and of course there's even more advanced, but just incredible, fascinating. There's a miraculous, huge, just absolutely prevalent, excellent type of aura, golden aura, and a sort of plasma field, and just one of the beautiful things about it is, of course, which can be defined as just one aspect of the fifth dimensional reality, or fifth dimensional dimension, or just that 9th, 12, 9th, and then that ultra super field of just, for example, crystal planet. Well, like I already said, the acceleration of designs, of course, is to not only reiterate and accelerate the limitlessness of what is already available, for limitless, meaning I say available because there's already there's already mining. There's already tons of mining and trading going on. Lots of mining on many asteroid rocks, but of course, we don't need to mine for resources. We don't, of course, because there's way more advanced technology. Same thing with trading. There's no need to trade for, spacecraft and advanced technological aspects of, and of course, this is super ultra advanced per se stuff, but different sizes, shapes, speeds of spacecraft, spaceships, space buses, exo transportation, or off-world transportation, or in-space transportation, and of course transdimensional travel. It's just there's absolutely so much out there. There's so much to do. It is so. It's absolutely thrilling. There's so much to do. That's one of the grand things about preparation, which this is just one of the basic preparations that's going on, which is, of course, everything I already mentioned. Biospheres, etc., air, land, lava, etc., which is why I condensed that into one of the English words, which is invincibility, and an ancient language word, which is not only that super ultra transformational creation thought form, of course, which it's able to do in of course ancient language, or the language that we're gonna ultimately writing and etc. But and translating, doing translating. But that's one key thing for, and that's a lot, of course. Progress, which is good. So next, of course, is believe it or not, one of the next things. Well, there's absolutely so much. There's and that's just one thought form of the ascendability form, because it's limitless.